morning, everyone. Covers Daily, Friday, February 11th. We have made it to the end of Super Bowl week, the NFL season, the final show for Covers Daily. We have it titled NFL Playoff Edition. That's exactly what it was. Every day during the playoffs, we have been with you one way or another, and we very much appreciate everybody tuning in to all of the shows along the way. But it's important that we also give recognition and acknowledgement to all of the hard work that has been going on the site and on the YouTube channel as well, outside of Covers Daily with the hardworking team. These guys have been going every day the entire season, and it's been an absolute treat to work alongside with them. So we figured as a last show, it only makes sense that we get everybody from the team here on the show, and we'll go back and forth on all sorts of Super Bowl topics and get you involved along the way. If you have anything you want to know, any bets you're on the fence about, any questions in the YouTube comments, please drop a line. We'll bring it up on the screen. We'll chat about it, but this is a chance for everybody to get their best bets out and to get you on your way this Super Bowl Friday and into the weekend. So producer Brady's just going to add everybody in. We'll get going back and forth. We had some fantastic conversation before we came on air. We were talking about very cheap breakfasts. We were talking about gas station hot dogs. We're talking about the first song, weird, obscure Super Bowl props. It was a lot of fun. So this is going to be a great conversation with everybody in the team as we get to the props. Jason Logan, first to join. Can we just add everyone at once, or is it, there we go. The boss, Brandon Dubray, covers Josh Ingles, Andrew Cayley. We're missing Rohit. Where is he? His shoulders are too broad to get in the screen. And find extra space. The whole crew is in here. So we were talking about the first song, and there's back and forth. J-Lo, you said there's steam on something at a book. You lost me along the way. Break that down.
Yeah, so Peter Clark, who has been behind the scenes doing some awesome Super Bowl work, and like you said, all those guys that are mentioned doing it. Pete's been the workhorse here for a lot of the Super Bowl content behind the scenes. And Pete just tipped me off. He said one of the Canadian sportsbooks, Coolbet, had moved to first song "Lose Yourself" minus 204. And earlier, I guess it was earlier this week, I jumped in and took "Lose Yourself" to be Eminem's first song plus 175. And I threw a little flyer down on Eminem to be the first performer as well as plus, I think it was 701, plus 700.
So minus 204 in the entire halftime broadcast.
Yes, to be the first song of it. And I mean, I have it in there as my breakdown as like, I think this should be the first song because of this. You can go in and read that. But I mean, "Lose Yourself" has become a staple sports anthem now. You'll hear it in arenas all over the place. It sets that stage for the, the high stakes Super Bowl battle. And it's also, in terms of Eminem's catalog, it's his most kind of radio-friendly song. And if you run down some of the songs that are also on his list for first song by Eminem, it plays a little nicer than some of the other ones, which have some kind of nasty radio edits that they'll have to pull off in order for him to sing them. So
what if it's 28? What if it's 28-3 at halftime? They're going to play that as like, and the Rams are leading. Like, you can't bust that out, can you?
I think it's set in stone right now.
So we're seeing the odds. So Peter, good job on Peter updating these. Minus 204, and it's scattered around. So these are obviously the Canadian books. So there's still a plus 750 sitting out there if you want to run and get that at the old Regal. What was ahead of that before? I have no idea. I had not looked.
It was the next episode. The next episode yesterday. It was minus 278 yesterday at Coolbet. So they've had some major adjustment there.
Wow. Okay. So, but that makes more sense with it being a West Coast Super Bowl, does it not?
Yeah. I agree.
Well, I mean, and you got Mary J. Blige and Eminem, who one guy's from Detroit and she's from New York.
Yeah, they'll come in later.
Yeah, that has to be an after. Like, they're not going to start an LA Super Bowl with a guy from Detroit, are they?
Yeah.
I don't
100%.
I'm with you, J-Lo. First song for Eminem, absolutely. But for first overall song, I know Taco and I are feeling still Dre here. We're both. Yeah. It's not getting the steam, but listen, we've seen, how many years have we seen this steam on these halftime show first songs go crazy, and then it's just wrong. This is not an efficient market. So
Brandon's just waiting for the leak.
I'm waiting for the anthem leak. Absolutely. I don't know if the one earlier in the week was legit or not. We'll find out tonight, I think.
Sure.
But, I mean,
according to a well-known offshore sports book, "Lose Yourself" is a -200 to be the first song. Next episode +150. "California Love" still out there +700, which seems to fit the narrative of an LA Super Bowl. And "Still Dre" +750, and then like "Drop It Like It's Hot" is the next one at +2000. So if it's not those first 4 songs, then yeah,
California Love has to be first or last, right? There's no chance it's anything other than first or last.
I'm with you. Can I give you my really detailed handicap on why I like Still Dre?
Yes,
I'd love to
please.
hear this.
Yeah.
But what?
Yes.
Hold on. So BW91961 couldn't make that username any easier to bring up on air. What are the odds on Forgot About Dre? I'm the old country music guy in the chat here that knows nothing that's going on here. There's a difference between Still Dre and Forgot About Dre?
Yes,
Correct. And it's off the board.
Which one's off the board?
Forgot About Dre. But we were talking about this in our chat a few days ago. There's a really, Eminem closes it with a really sweet acapella beat, and it would be a nice one to end on Forgot About Dre. Like just that line closes the halftime show. But I don't see it on too many markets right now.
So we're still on Dre, or Still Dre is still on the board, but Forgot About Dre is not on the board.
Yeah, Still
Correct.
is still there, and Forgot About It. You might as well forget about it because it's not on the board.
Who's on first? Okay, so give me. Brandon had a detailed handicap. I'm curious to hear this before we move on to other handicaps. And Josh Wilkin, Warren Sharp released this first son pick. He's been releasing everything. He works for NBC. He's been at the Super Bowl. We'll get into that in a second. There's an actual detailed breakdown here, so give that to us before we move on.
Yeah, and I hope you guys have enough time for this, but I'm doing a lot of research onto this, and I've come to the conclusion that because Still Dre is the song that they're using in the commercial, then that's going to be the first song.
Did that work last year with The Weeknd?
I think it did, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was Blinding
It was
Light.
the Pepsi commercial, right?
Can I say I actually missed that commercial? I actually enjoyed that commercial.
Yeah.
Oh my
There you
God.
go.
Josh Wilkin, Bill Krakenberger said California Love is not first. Now, Sharp and Crack are fantastic, but it's wild to me that these guys who do all sorts of stuff with markets all year are like diving in and leaking halftime novelties. All right.
Do you think they have like certain plans? Like we have like the A, B, and C plan, and like they just tell them like what we're gonna do before they go on stage? Like they probably can't practice the whole set knowing that it will get leaked.
I think I don't
They
think
must.
Yeah, I don't know if betting is like the top of their concern, considering what they're likely being paid for this.
Well, it's mine.
I know it's all of ours. That's okay. Let's go around the horn here, and we'll get into best bets. And then anybody who's watching, if you have questions on props that you have, or you want to ask any of us questions on props that we might have, feel free to do so. But I'll pass it over the Rohit to get us going with. We'll just go best props or things that you've bet on that you want to talk about here on the show. So where are you starting us off with?
You know what? I'm going to start off with Joey Burrow. I think he's kind of the man of the moment right now, and everyone's kind of on the train, and I'm following up on that hype. One of the big things about the Bengals all season, I mean, the offense is really good, but they don't pick up those shorter chunk plays. I think they were about 18th in the league in first downs per game. They're all about the big play, and I think Joey Burrow, he's got that great connection downfield with Chase and Higgins. And we've seen him really make a lot of those big plays in the playoffs towards the end of the regular season. He had a couple big pickups 2 weeks ago in the AFC Championship game. I think he's had his longest pass completion of the game has been at least 40 yards in 5 of his last 6 games. So I think he's going to be in for another big one against the Rams. Obviously, the Rams defense is pretty strong, but they've been a little bit more vulnerable in the back end ever since they lost Jordan Fuller at the end of the season there. I think they will be having Taylor Rapp back for the Super Bowl, but not having Fuller there really hurts. You saw them give up some big plays, a couple of big plays to Tom Brady. Saw them give up a big play to Deebo Samuels a couple of weeks ago. So I think Burrow is going to be attacking deep in this game regardless. We've seen that all year out of him. If the Bengals if the Bengals do well, if they're competitive, I think it's because he's hooking up with those big plays. But if they don't do well and they fall down, they fall down 2 touchdowns or maybe even just 10 points at half, they're going to be airing it out and attacking deep anyway. So I think regardless of the scenario here, I think he is going to be airing it out. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey is going to be trying to lock down on Chase, but I think Higgins or tight end Uzoma could get loose deep and come up with a big play.
Awesome. So Burrow, long completion over 38.5 yards. Does anyone have a take on who's going to be the pass catcher on the other end of that 38-yard plus reception on a long reception prop? I think it's Mr. Cayley. What do you have?
Oh, I don't have it on the long reception prop, but I have just a big day coming for T. Higgins, I think.
Big day for T. Higgins.
Big day for T. Higgins. I saw your show with Captain Jack the other day, and he mentioned median versus average, and I thought that was really smart thing to put out there. A lot of people will then go calculate the average, and T. Higgins' average over his last 9 games is much higher than his prop total, his receiving total for this matchup. He's at about 95 yards per game since week 12, and his median over the regular season, it's about 62, which is lower than the receiving yard total of 69.5, which is kind of falls in line with what you guys were talking about there. But since he got healthy in week 12, that median's more like 103. And like Rohit said, Chase is going to be the main priority for Jalen Ramsey. No wrap. I really think that Burrow could lock in to Higgins here, and I'm going to take him to go over those receiving yards. You've also mentioned in the past this Rams pass defense 21st in defensive success rate. And yeah, I really think he locks into Higgins here, goes over that number. And I'm actually even going to sprinkle something on him to be the leading receiver in this game. You get that about 7-1. That's a bit of more of a long shot bet there. But if Cooper Kupp gets shut down at all, I don't expect that to happen because it's Cooper Kupp and he's just like nobody's been able to stop him. So, but if they do, and Ramsey does a decent enough job on Chase, I don't see it that crazy. I think that value is a little off there on T. Higgins getting almost 7-1.
Producer Brady is grinning behind the scenes because it was the Wednesday episode, which was the last one, like the last guest that we had from outside of covers, and he was like, "Okay, I'm starting to see things line up because." We had Suma, we had Adam Levitan, we had guys from different sports books. Just every guest this week has kind of hinted towards Higgins, and nobody really had it as an official bet. So I think everything comes together, and he's like, "We should be betting Higgins over," and that was kind of what it is. So good to hear that come through as your best bet to complement Rohit's best bet. So we might see the big completion from Burrow to Higgins to get that over. We had a question, a fun one from Michael Fanak. Oh boy, I hope that I said that right because that was really close to going the wrong direction there. Thoughts on either QB over 2.5 rush attempts, especially from a kneel down perspective at the end of the game. Who wants this one?
I'll jump in. I think it's smart that you're considering that, right? I think a lot of people just look at it and just say, he's going to run, he's going to scramble 3 times. But you have to consider the fact that a kneel down at the end of the game counts as a rushing attempt, right? Counts as a rushing attempt and counts for negative rushing yards as well. So, if you're looking at Rams, if you're betting the Rams, if your narrative has the Rams winning the game, you probably there's a good chance that Stafford's going to be kneeling down to end the game, and you might want to stay away from the over 2.5 bet. And of course, vice versa with the Bengals. So I think it's a really good question and a good thing to consider.
Didn't that happen with
I think you can also add
two Super Bowls ago?
Before I jump in. No, I'll just add one quick thing on top of that. The likelihood of getting more than one kneel down, if there are, is incredibly high. It's really rare that you only get one kneel down. So usually if you get one, you're for sure getting 2. J-Lo, go ahead.
I was just going to say, wasn't there a bad beat with Mahomes rushing yards in the Super Bowl? Was it 2 years ago? Same thing where he had those kneel downs take yardage off the board. So, it's always something that can come back and bite you in the ass.
Josh, you had something on the rushing prop?
Well, just Zach Taylor's not the most aggressive coach on 4th downs or anything. But, I mean, it's pretty easy to see that line could, give up something on a second quarter play. You know what I mean? We could see Joe Burrow kneel down in the first half. as he's looking at 3rd and long, and they might just want to hit the locker room. So I'm not a big fan of Joe Burrow's rushing total because the Rams are so sneakily efficient at sacking. Like, they're bottom 5 in QB pressure, but they have the 3rd most sacks. So if quarterbacks don't get away from him. So I'm a big fan of the Joe Burrow under rushing total angle this week. There was news that Burrow was talking to Taylor last week, 2 weeks ago in the AFC Championship game, saying that they could beat KC on the ground. They blitz heavily, and that there would be room for him to run. So I'm not expecting Burrow to take off like he did versus the Chiefs, and you just don't get away from this Rams pass rush.
None of those runs against the Chiefs were designed runs, from what I remember. They were all scrambles that just benefited in huge yardage totals because the Chiefs were miles down.
There might have been one designed keeper up the middle.
Right.
But other than, it was just him trying to keep plays alive and picking up first downs.
What's the number, Josh? Is it
here,
10.5?
What's that?
The number on that rush is 10.5.
It was 10.5. It might be 11.5 too, if you want like the best you can find on an under. To Michael's question, I'll pose this one to you guys. Does that go over 2.5 without kneel downs? Is there a chance that either QB runs more than 2 times just in the natural game itself?
I would say it probably comes from Burrow more than anything because he's going to be kind of running for his life. And as a quarterback, he's got pretty good wheels. Watching him come up through LSU and watching him recently, he can break off some big runs and not afraid to put a shoulder down either. The one with Matthew Stafford could be quite interesting because I didn't think he was that fast, and I saw him break off a run in that San Francisco game, and I went, all right, I gave Matthew Stafford some credit. But we've also seen some Matthew Stafford like QB keeps and short situations and stuff like that too.
Stubborn sneaks too, back to back in the division game.
Yeah. What does the resident Lions fan think of his athleticism?
Honestly, I loved it, man. Seeing him run out of bounds the other day, pick up the first down and just sticking the football out. That was great. But, I think part of the reason, too, that they were using so much of that, those quarterback sneaks at the goal line, especially, was their running game just hasn't been good the last few weeks against some good run defenses.
Yeah.
They'll be able to pick up, those tough 1 or 2 yards against the Bengals as opposed to, when you're playing against the Bucs or a team like that.
And I did throw down a bit of a flyer on Stafford to score a touchdown because he's greasy with those goal line ones too. Like he'll come over. I think he pulled one off on the Cowboys a few years ago, and he was pretending like the play was dead, or it was like, "What's going on?" And then he's like, "Oh," and he didn't tell anyone about it. I don't think he told anyone that the ball was snapped, and he just went forward with it. And everyone was like, "What the hell's happening here?" So he's greasy when it comes to those goal line stands.
Do you think Sean McVay wants
versus
to get him
Stafford 40-yard dash set the number?
Stafford's a big dude. He has those deer legs, so
when Rohit
is in motion, he's probably it'd be close finish, but I think Stafford gets you just on length of stride.
So it's like Stafford minus 130.
Oh man, it sounds about right. We'll take Rowe.
Length of stride.
Mike
Parsons, as a guy who's tall and might be a little faster.
Brandon's chiming in before we go on.
I got one thing to add that might actually help the guys with their betting. If you are betting
on Stafford versus Rohit, or betting on QB scrambles in the game?
QB scrambles, QB yards. If you're taking the over and you're the team, like say you got Stafford and the Rams have a lead in the 4th, look to hit the cash out button, right? Because it's not something we like to promote all the time, right? Because you are going to take a little bit less, but I don't think the algorithm is going to take into account that there's a good chance that Stafford is going to now kneel down and lose yards and lose rushing attempts. So if you're playing on Bet365 or one of these ones that has the cash out at all times, and you're thinking, okay, there's a chance that I'm going to lose this, it might be one of the rare scenarios where I'd actually agree with considering the cash out button there.
Or perhaps the in-play rushing under, which you might not find. Maybe for a Super Bowl it'll be up there, but you never know. Ryan Croaks, boy, the last names are getting me because I could be way off here. Does Drake betting the Rams affect what you guys think?
No.
Like
What
Drake
book
the
did-
rapper?
Death, right?
No, yeah, what book did he put that on? That was a weird one. What is that called?
Stake.com. It's a crypto book.
Yeah.
He bet what, 600 grand on the
600 grand to win on the money line. To
On
win
the money line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, shout out to Ryan. Ryan is a big
Ryan's
fan
the man.
of covers and everything we do. How you doing, Ryan? Thanks for the question, man.
Mike,
But like,
hold on. So Drake the rapper
Drake.
bet $600,000 on a crypto website.
That's
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But
there it is. Look at the guy.
Oh, there it is. Way to go.
but they're also
Producer
saying
Brady.
that this company is, and look, it says Monday, February 14th on it, which is weird, obviously.
Why
I'd
does
say
it say that?
I
Oh,
assume
that's probably just
yeah.
European
His game.
timestamp. So European timestamp.
Oh, you smart man.
Oh, okay.
But no, there's rumors saying that this company is using these guys to promote their site, right? So
No
you
shit.
know what I mean? Might not be a real bet.
Yeah. I think what Ryan wanted to know was the Drake effect, right? There's a Drake curse.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, because he's with the team or stuff.
Well, no, he's
I
just
got
he's been
you.
the
I was
going
gonna say from a market perspective, no.
with. I think outside of the
Again, I'm
Raptors
the
and
old
that
guy
title
on the
role.
panel here, apparently. And to follow up with that, co-producer Mick behind the scenes said he also bet OBJ over receiving yards and OBJ anytime TD. Are they friends?
I would guess. Yeah, I think so, aren't they?
Yeah.
If George Strait bet on the game, I could tell you all about it. But
oh, there you go. Yeah.
I don't know.
Who's Conway Twitty got? Is he?
We had a question from Mike Parsons. You guys like a scoreless quarter plus 325? Yes. Anyone like that?
If anything, the first quarter maybe.
That's
but
what I'm thinking too.
yeah, I mean first quarters, and I bet the under first quarter 9.5, and I generally do gravitate towards first quarter unders because teams, one, they're a little tentative. No one wants to turn the ball over. They're not pressing too much, but you do find teams playing with, like, especially an offense, playing a little tight. You see some overthrown balls, quarterbacks trying to put some more stank on it. You see some bad drops, and then the defense usually comes out like they're ready to kill. Like those guys have been jacked up. They've been waiting to hit somebody for 2 weeks, and so I find the defense plays with a lot of energy early on in those first quarters, and generally we do see some lower scoring ones. So if anything, there, yeah. And I expect the Rams to be very rush heavy early on as well too, and it's going to eat up a lot of time, and that could lead to a scoreless first quarter, a very boring scoreless first quarter. So.
I think that time element's important because it could be a slower pace game, or at least a couple fewer possessions. Rohit, you had something on that?
I was just going to say, yeah, there's always, I find in the Super Bowl, there's always that sort of feeling out period, especially with two teams that aren't really familiar with playing against each other. One interesting thing I thought about almost the entire playoffs is that we kept having these matchups between teams that had played each other during the regular season, and a lot of times fairly recently. And this is an interesting one because these guys are very much an unknown element to each other. And I think there is definitely going to be that feeling out period, especially with these offenses and the different things that the Rams like to throw out there. So I think you're going to see a little bit more of like a conservative game plan, especially early as these teams kind of figure out what the other team's going to be doing.
Preparation's a
Awesome.
big thing too. Nobody is prepared on this Bengals team for this pregame of the Super Bowl. Everyone talks about it everywhere. It's completely different from any other game you've ever played in your entire life. And the Rams have gone through it. The Bengals have not. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out into this. When you go out, you do your pregame preps, and then you have to go back into the locker room for like an hour while they do the anthems and the coin flips and all these things. And it takes a long time, and it really messes with a lot of guys' psyche. So that can attribute to like a lower scoring, coming out a little flat kind of thing as well. Didn't the Rams also, their last Super Bowl, wasn't that first quarter scoreless as well? Or did
The
the
entire
Patriots kick
game
their...
was almost scoreless.
It was almost
13-3
all
final.
scoreless, but I think the first quarter was, if I remember.
I want to
correctly.
say it was 2, but I was there an early field goal? I can't remember.
Might have
But I
been
know
under.
first quarter went under, first half went under, and then full game obviously went
Full
under.
game went under.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. We'll continue on with the best bets. I see some more questions. I'm going to prepare on how to pronounce that last name while J-Lo gives his best bet.
Oh, there's so many.
I know. Pick a couple. Make it
Sure. Well, I do like, I have Rams -4, and I'm going to wait to play the Rams money line late, as Adam and I discussed there during the opening odds show about coming back late on the favorite money line and seeing if it gets discounted. But I don't mind the double result, which is the Rams at +115. So Rams leading at the half and then Rams winning the game.
Ooh.
And if you shop around, some places have this like -110 or kind of hovering around even money. Bet365 had +115. Like I said, I expect the Rams to come out and play a very run-heavy first half and test that Cincinnati rush defense, which has just been absolute garbage for the last 8 weeks, really, their last 8 games, I should say. And then with LA, they have, in 15 of their wins this season, they have led in 11 of those games at the break, and then obviously gone on to win the game. 2 of those games were tied at the half, and then 2 games they had obviously fell behind at the half, but came back to win the game. So that's there. The only shaky thing is how kind of conservative Sean McVay gets in the second half, especially if they have the lead. And then we've seen Cincinnati storm back and make some great second half adjustments. So things could get a little dicey in the second half. But a good way to kind of milk it out a little bit if you don't want to play, if you don't want to lay like -200 to -175 right now on the money line. You could also, take Matt Stafford to win MVP, but then Donald or Kupp could kind of ball out and steal that. So I think this is a great way to get a little extra money back in terms of betting on the Rams. And then, of course, my Mary J. Blige prop.
Lay it on us. All
right,
you already started it. You teased it.
I know, yeah. So and it's funny because my Super Bowl track record, I usually have a pretty good regular season, great postseason, Super Bowl, absolute trash. But one of my greatest Super Bowl accomplishments was getting Justin Timberlake to cover a Prince song. It was like 3 Super Bowls ago when they were in Minnesota, and you knew it was coming, and it was like +170 or something crazy, and then it eventually slimmed and went off the board. This one, Mary J. Blige, will she wear fur during the halftime show performance? And it's +130 at Canadian Sportsbook Sports Interaction. If you can shop around and find it anywhere else, good luck. But I'm going to use kind of some of Brandon's handicapping skill for handicapping the halftime show. She wore fur during the promotional material for that show. So you would think, oh, maybe she's going to wear fur in the show. No, it's Mary J. Blige. She's a queen. She's not wearing the same outfit twice. So this is definitely no fur in the halftime show. And also too, it's LA. It's not New York in February. It's hot as balls there. And I also think that, maybe the PETA, even though it could be faux fur, and it does say that fur or faux fur, maybe the PETA set and the animal cruelty set, they don't want to see her running around in fur. That sounds like a big headache for Mary J. Blige. So she's not rocking fur during the halftime show.
So the bet is on her not to wear fur or to wear fur?
No
fur.
No fur, no fur, no faux fur.
No faux fur, no fur, and no drama.
But how?
Isn't that no drama?
No drama.
And no drama. So +130. It's down to +120. So definitely got ahead of that.
Some sharp action right
That's
there.
right. Well, sharp action definitely moved down.
But how? Hold on. Like, what are the stipulations around this? Like, who determines this?
Yeah. So
I'm expecting. I don't know. Well, that's the thing. When you bet on stupid props like this, you are at the mercy of the sports book. So she could come out with no fur coat on, but maybe have fur on her boots.
Right. That's where I'm going with this.
And then I'm getting holes. Yeah, this is the risk that you take when you get involved with this stupid stuff. So
so keep it small.
And then everybody at your Super Bowl thinks you're crazy.
Yeah. So designate a little bit of money that you don't mind getting fleeced on for your halftime show bets, and then keep your big bets for the shit that actually makes sense. So
we'll clip that out. That's going to do very well on social. We have a question from, here we go, Tyler McKillop. What are your thoughts on the Rams to have the most rushing yards in the game at -125? Seems like there's some implied value on them being the favorite. Is there more implied value on the Rams having the most rushing yards, or Mary J. Blige not wearing fur is the bigger question? I'll answer this one. And then if anyone else wants to pile on, they will. I like Akers over. I like his alternates over. And I like a small bet on him to win the MVP because of a lot of things we just said. McVay, his play calling, the Bengals defensively, how they're going to be playing, the opponents that Akers has faced despite still getting carries. So what you said, Tyler, in the comment here, is there extra value with them being the favorite? Like if they're leading and that lead is more than a score, we have seen McVay get really conservative with his play calling and really favor the run. So if you do think the Rams are going to be leading and every single sportsbook director, odds maker that we have had on the show in the last 2 weeks is just loving the amount of money coming in on the Bengals, which would sort of let you look behind the line here a little bit. If you think that's the case, then there's going to be extra runs. So yes, I'm all for it. Anyone else want to take a Bengals side on that one?
I don't. I think it's also a good way to address the Darrell Henderson factor, which, Adam, I don't think we've heard from you yet on this. Have you addressed this in a segment that I might have missed? But McVay says Henderson's good to go. I mean, I think my bet's in with you on Akers, but does that worry you at all?
No, there's nothing that says that he's fully healthy. You're always going to get the coach saying that he's good to go, and you keep the game planning aspect as it is what it is. But there's, even to the news that was sent out, we didn't see anything substantial within the line. We haven't heard from anyone saying that he's like fully back to health. And I think the fact that McVay has clearly made up his mind that Akers is the lead guy, that we're going to see him continue to go with Akers. Because there were all those fumbles in the Buccaneers game. He still kept going back to Akers. So I would be, look, if Henderson comes back and he's fully healthy, then that could ultimately derail the Akers bet possibly, but I just can't see him anywhere near full health. So happy to stay with Akers.
The thing I would add to that too, if we rewind to like pre-Akers injury, going into the season, this was Akers' backfield, right? This wasn't going to be a timeshare. It wasn't going to be a three-headed backfield like we got in the comments. It was Cam Akers' show. And then it just got disrupted because of the injury. So, even if maybe that's in his head too, right? I think it's a good call that Akers will get the ball.
There was a
Tyler said that he feels like betting the Rams to have the most rushing yards is the better way to go than being all in on Akers. Well, don't be all in on Akers if anyone's doing that. But I know what you mean. And like you could, I think it's just a good bet to add on either way. If you like the Akers prop, you're going to like the Rams to have more rushing yards. If you think Henderson's going to have an impact, you probably still like the Rams to have more rushing yards anyway. So it's just you can have a bunch of props on the same thing.
The Rams will have fresh legs too. You know what I mean? Like they still have Sony Michel. Like they'll still be able to roll guys in and out of the lineup a little more than Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine.
How many of us have Michel anytime touchdown scorer bets?
What's that?
I know someone does. I saw the video. Who made the video?
Well, I got in on it. I got in on him early before the Darrell Henderson news came in. But I don't know. There are angles for Michel. I think his rushing total is at 20.5 right now. His rushing TD was at like plus 550. He has experience. The two fumbles are scary. I mean, this backfield's been really hard to navigate so far in the postseason. I mean, the yardage hasn't been there, but there could be if Michel gets 10 carries, would you be surprised?
Very.
No.
Yes, disagreement.
Yes.
That I think. Wow. Okay, is Henderson healthy or not? Like what? Let's say Henderson.
Is anyone truly healthy at this point in the season anyway?
Not to the extent Henderson is hurt.
Yeah,
but
from what I heard from an LA beat reporter is that if he is good to go, and this, I don't know if this was the beat reporter saying what McVay had passed along or just kind of speculating, but that Henderson would be the third guy.
I agree with that. So Henderson's made good for
touchdown props. So Sony Michel's touchdown prop at DK score anytime is plus 240. Henderson's plus 250.
I think if anyone's getting that goal line carry away from Akers, it's Michel.
Akers is minus 110. So
yeah.
Yep, I agree with that. I don't think Michel gets 10 touches though. I think he'll be in the 6 or 7 range.
Yeah, and more of a third down. And how many third downs are they going to see if they are able to run the ball like they can and hit Cup over the middle? Like how many third downs situations are they really going to see?
Speaking of Cup over the middle, how about Cup over the middle in the backfield as we go to Brandon for his best bet? How's that for a segue?
Oh, what a pivot.
Wow.
All right. Before producers take everyone out of the chat and give me my solo screen time here, I want to show hands from the other 5 involved. Do you think Cooper Kupp gets 1 rushing attempt? Hands up if yes. Cooper Kupp 1 rushing attempt. All right, so we're split because mine's up too. So my bet that I've written about is for Kupp to get go over 0.5 rush yards, and is that plus 250? It's kind of fun. You get a lot of money here, a little sprinkle. I mean, it's that handicap of there's 2 weeks to prepare here. You're going to see some creative stuff. You do every Super Bowl. And if McVay's not scheming up ways to get the ball in his best player's hand, I think he's, a little bit crazy. I also think that the Deebo Samuel factor comes in here, where he's played San Fran in 2 of his last 4 games. Watching Deebo become this hybrid wide receiver running back and running all over him, probably thinking, hey, why not? Maybe I should, maybe I could put Cooper back there for 1 rush. Finally, it's not like this is out of the world. He's got a rushing attempt in 4 of the last 7 games. So I'm just thinking he gets 1 rushing attempt. If he gets 1, he's the NFL leader in yards after the catch. So I'm going to bank on 1 rushing attempt, and then from that, him being able to get positive yardage and cash the 250 here. So that's all I got on it.
I like the bet, but what would make this exceptionally fun is if he gets 1 and picks up like 4 yards, but then he gets another and just gets drilled off the line coming around. And then there's the sweat to see if he lost 3 yards or if he lost 4. I think that would make
like on a screen. They do a little screen, like a side screen, and he steps back and loses all the yards on it.
That sounds like one of those post game corrections where they'll be like, "Oh no, he only lost 2 yards or only lost 3 yards after the fact." And then
And then there's the debate between the Yahoo box score and the ESPN box score. Who uses which box score? And they're all different. But on that note, with Kupp going over, Chase on the other side got bet over by a group of professionals. We had Adam Levitan on the show. They were the ones who originated it. That was about a week ago. And so on that point, to coaches emptying the playbook, extra guys getting involved, especially like skilled players getting the ball in their hand quickly, Chase got hit. I would expect Kupp. I'm surprised that price is still as high as it is, to be quite honest. That's
what's that, Chase?
I feel
Chase
like
over 0.5.
Chase was 2.5, I think.
Chase was 2.5, got bet up as high as 4.5, and then 365 had 3.5. And I took over 3.5, but that's going to be a big greasy sweat because he's not Deebo Samuel by any mean. But the way I look at it, at least compared to the Kupp one, is does McVay actually have to run something special to get the ball into Cooper Kupp's hands? And then when you look at Jamar Chase matching up against Ramsey, and they're definitely going to be keying in on him, is that something where Zach Taylor feels like he has to run something special to get Chase going? Because if he's getting shut down on the outside and if they're paying extra attention to him, then it becomes, I got to get the ball into my best player's hands. And there's a little more, I would say, pressure to do so. I don't know if I see the same pressure or need to get Cooper Kupp a rushing carry when they can kind of just stick to, what's going to work. And that's been, just Cooper Kupp through the air. So, but great return on that at plus 250. I mean, that's silly for just picking up a yard, right?
Yep.
It should be noted, Zach Taylor's only gone for it on 4th down 1 so far in the playoffs, and that was an end around to Chase that he picked up 15 yards on the ground.
Yeah, and Chase hasn't had big gains. Like, he only averaged 3 yards per carry. I think he only ran the ball like 7 times in the regular season. I think he had 3 carries against Vegas, and he had 21 yards. He had a big run of 15, and then the other one he had just gains of 3 and 2 in the other 2 playoff games. So it's not something it's definitely not a Deebo Samuel situation. But I think Cincinnati could get put in a place where they're just we got to get Chase going somehow. We got to break off some sort of play, and he's a speedy guy that can give him that spark, whether it pans out or not. I'm fully ready for a big sweat on that one because he might get 3 yards, he might get 4 yards. I wish I had the 2.5, and I've been waiting for it to open and open. I saw it on the board at some places and not ready to open yet. And then it opened late Thursday night, and my kids were sick Friday, so I didn't get to get any action down anywhere beforehand. So 3.5, it wasn't the worst of the number. It wasn't the best.
You prioritize children's health over Super Bowl props?
I did. Those stupid little dummies went and got sick, and then I was, sitting there with an extra half
Wow.
yard. I'll never
Wow,
forgive
wow,
them
wow.
for that.
You're gonna hate them if you come about.
Yeah.
Before we
got
get to
hooked.
Josh's best bet, Kay Smith in the chat says first halftime song still Dre plus 575 easy money. Did he? Is it forgot about Dre or still Dre is more
This is
popular?
you
I don't
forgot
understand.
that it's still.
But this is the one that's off the board.
No, forget about Dre
No.
is the one that's off the board.
This is
right.
this is the one that's still on the board.
If
Still
we
And then
played you- if we played you
Ryan's
the
asking
two-
about Kendrick and Mary. So I'm
Mm.
guessing those are performers as well. Well,
Yeah.
Mary, you're not wearing fur.
Not wearing fur. You could bet on the type of earrings that she was going to wear as well, too.
What do you have on that? I'm
I
sure you
don't.
put
I
research
don't.
into
That's
Is it
that's
hoop
that's
or is it
shark-infested
dangle
water
or is it
there. I
just
don't-
dangle
I
or
don't know.
what?
No.
it. Holy smokes, we're getting into it here. Josh, best bet to take us home. What are you looking at?
I'm not a huge fan of this Cincinnati. Everyone's really excited about the Cincinnati offense. I'm kind of not into them right now. If I don't know, converting third downs at 50%. If I told you that their longest third down conversion so far in the postseason was 7 yards, would you be surprised? I would be. I mean, their average third down that they're not converting, 10.3 yards with a median of 11 yards. Like, this is a team that's playing behind the sticks often, and they could be playing behind the sticks again coming Sunday. So there's a couple angles here. So Evan McPherson's made, 12-12 so far in the postseason, probably the best season the kicker's ever had. But of his 12 field goals that he's made, 7 of them were because of sacks or offensive penalties in the same series that he made the field goal. So they haven't really done themselves any favors. So Cincinnati's were 4-11 in the red zone so far. Like, they've just stalled out, and combine that with Zach Taylor only going for it, as I mentioned before, once so far in fourth down in the postseason. And on the regular season, I think he was in the bottom 3 at 1.1 per game. So getting kicker props is, you can't just bet on the kicker itself. You need to realize coaching tendencies and game flow. And Evan McPherson's just been put in a really good situation with a conservative head coach. And I don't see that trend bucking. I don't see Zach Taylor kind of getting excited in the Super Bowl and doing what he doesn't do. So this Evan McPherson, your two choices with Evan McPherson basically are over 7.5 or team total field goal over 1.5. Right now, the over 1.5 sitting at plus 105. The Rams have only allowed 5 red zone trips so far in this postseason too. So I don't think points will be easy for Cincinnati. I'll be looking to hit their team total at under 21.5, but I do like them to kick at least 2 field goals here. He's got the leg. He's got a coach that doesn't like to go for it on fourth down. He's got an offensive line that could, send him packing and look at third and longs too. And because of that same situation, I also like Samaje Perine over 1.5 receptions at plus money too. We saw it on the second, I think it was 2nd and 12 on Samaje Perine's touchdown. It's going to be a way Zach Taylor has to offset pressure, and they're going to have to use the screen game. So there's a field goal prop. I like Samaje Perine over 1.5 for a niche bet. And I really don't like Cincinnati moving the ball that well.
Yeah, well,
Bengals.
one of the things, too, is that I think Cincinnati is bottom half of the league in red zone touchdown percentage. So they haven't been fantastic in the red zone. So that's definitely something that could play a big role in McPherson kicking those field goals as well.
Right.
A lot of
Rams
that's
have
coming
been-
from the offensive line weaknesses, or what's causing that?
Yeah, I mean, they're just not once they kind of get into that spot and the field's shorter, they can't really just, go for those big plays with their wide receivers anymore. They're trying to run the ball. They just can't get it.
Where do we stand on Mixon collectively?
I like the I had a bet on the Joe Mixon over longest reception, which was open 12.5. I got 13.5, and we saw some places go up as big as 14.5. He's been involved in that passing game a lot more than really at any point in the season. And he's been able to break off some pretty good gains too, like gains of longs of like 18, 21. He had that awesome over the shoulder one-handed catch against Kansas City. That was like an 18-yard gain. So he's been able to break off those. And I think with, depending on the health of Uzama, if he's healthy and if he's healthy enough to stay on the field and be good, and productive, you're going to be finding Joe Burrow looking for checkdowns as that pass rush closes in on him, hurries him. He's going to have to get rid of that football, and Mixon could step up and be that kind of safety blanket or release valve on some of those pass rush situations. And so there's definitely value there. And like I said, Mixon's been breaking off some pretty steady gains, 12.5, 13.5 yards, not that much compared to what he's been doing. So
I'm curious to see what that Uzama touchdown price closes at, because I feel like that's still kind of sneaky. Because he was, I don't know if what kind of cast you call it or the brace or anything. He's jogging around the field, high-fiving people. He's going to be on the field. He's going to be playing. I think we'll see that.
He ripped it off, didn't he?
He looked great. A reminder to everybody watching, on Covers, we have a fantastic player prop page. Today, tomorrow, Sunday, you can do all the comparison of the regulated books and on markets within your state. You can go through all the different categories, all the different markets, see what the best price is. An incredibly useful tool. As we were talking about when it comes to McPherson and the field goals made, you can see the differences in prices here at the different markets. So when you are looking for the best price on the player props page on Covers, that will go a long way to helping everybody out. Before we wrap up, I'm going to put the pressure on co-producer Mick and producer Brady. They don't want to come on the stream. That's fine, but we'll get banners up with what their favorite prop bet is. We'll give them a second for that ultimately to come through. Is there anything else that anybody had that maybe wasn't the best bet that really stands out? We'll just do a quick round the horn, 10 to 15 seconds per.
I was the one asking to bring up that price there. I just think it's important everybody to know. Josh is betting that at plus 105, which you can get on McPherson at Bet365 right now. That player props tool is showing us that the best price at a regulated book in the U.S. is minus 140. I doubt you'd be betting that at the same price, Josh. You can speak for yourself there, but
yeah, I just don't understand why you wouldn't take the 1.5 instead of the 7.5. You know what I mean? He's not going to kick one field goal and score 4 touchdowns 5 touchdowns and get 5 extra points, right?
For sure. But it's just the price differences, the only point I want to make is just massive from book to book on some of these props. And just because we're saying it might be a play at what did you say, plus 105, it doesn't make it a play at minus 140 necessarily. So important, just keep shopping around and look for those best prices.
Those gaps are only going to get bigger between now and kickoff too, because it's just going to become a lot to handle. Producer Brady's pick, Super Bowl longest TD greater than Louis Tuivasa total rounds.
Brady is a massive USC fan.
I don't understand that. Well, hold on. What am I missing here? The longest TD total rounds, like what's the maximum rounds? 5?
It'll be 3.
3.
We've got Brady in with audio.
Yeah, 3 rounds. Lewis and Tuivasa at the press conference basically said that they're going to stand in the middle and swing, and whoever lands first wins. It's probably going to be a first round knockout.
Is this worded right, or am I just misunderstanding this? So
the
longest
touchdown,
like 30, 40 yards.
Shortest touchdown, sorry.
Okay.
There we go.
I was going to say, I'm jumping up the stream to go bet that right now.
Yeah, the shoe-in of the week.
All right. So we're basically comparing I'm guessing Brady, I don't know if he's still on audio, but probably thinking that fight, I don't know a lot about UFC. Rohit's the expert here. 2 guys that knockout specialists are going to be throwing. Is that correct to assume?
Yeah. I mean, the best way of thinking about this, I guess, is touchdown shorter than 1.5 yards. Because, I don't see that fight going more than a round and a half. So things like pass defense and stuff like that, getting right.
And even if somehow it goes the distance, it's still 3.
Exactly.
You can still cheer at home.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Great cross sport prop that makes a lot of sense. If that was longest TD, how much that would have been a max, but okay, we got it. So the shortest TD compared to the rounds. Got it. Co-producer Mick behind the scenes. Does he have a pick? Rams defense special team touchdown and Rams win the game plus 750. Okay. So that's money line on the Rams is about minus 190. I don't know off the top of my head what defense special teams anytime score would be, but we have a great prop on Covers that would do that, which if I was using while we were on the stream, could tell you what the price was. But combination of both makes a lot of sense. I think plus 750, that is a pretty good number. So a solid pick there from co-producer Mick. Anyone want to end off with a prop that we may have not talked about before we send everyone on their way to get ready for Super Bowl weekend? Floor is open.
I like Van Jefferson over his longest reception of 17.5 yards. Quite a bit.
17.5. I like it.
Yeah. The Bengals have given up the third most 20-yard receptions in the NFL this year. Only the Jets and the Ravens, kind of funnily, have given up more. Jefferson has at least one 20-yard reception in 12 of the 17 regular season games, and did it once in the playoffs as well. It's not a super sharp bet, but the numbers stuck out to me, so I like it there.
Awesome. I think it's a good spot to end it. And everyone on their way. We got J-Lo back just in time. Computer crashes, pulls the phone out of the pocket.
Yeah.
The consummate professional. Guys, it's just been a pleasure to be a part of the team. My first season with you, so it's been a lot of fun to be doing video stuff along the way. You guys have been working your, I'll say, asses off in the entire season here on the website, on the videos, and everything. So it's been a great team effort. We appreciate everybody who's gone to the website, who's come to the YouTube channel, who's liked, who's subscribed, who's done everything. It's been a treat to be producing content with each and every one of you. And I just want to say thank you to everybody watching. And I think to wrap it up, on behalf of everybody here on the stream and behalf of everyone on Covers, thanks for tuning in all season. Enjoy the Super Bowl weekend. And we will be back with you on the next one. Hopefully around the draft time.
At halftime of the Super Bowl, Adam.
There is a halftime show. Before we see, I won't be wearing fur, but maybe I'll do it to shame the bet.
I just want Adam to come out wearing a Dr.
There we go.
Dre
What will what
even money that Adam's wearing fur?
What will Sanchez be wearing during the halftime show?
I might just do fur just to send the statement. I don't have some, but I may source some and send the PETA folks up in arms.
I need a Super Bowl snack food too, quickly. I got
Super Bowl
nothing.
snack food.
Jalapeno cheddar
I gotta
dip.
bring something.
Oh,
Jalapeno bacon cheddar dip.
I don't like white sauces, so don't put anything in.
just easy. Go get some like shortbread cookies at the store. Everyone loves those.
Yeah.
All right.
Adam, we should mention the halftime live show on Sunday. We will have everybody in and out before the actual halftime show starts, and we will teach Adam a thing or two about West Coast hip hop, because clearly
I have to watch it to know if Dre's still Dre or if we forgot about him or who's singing what direction it's going. Good time to end it there. Thank you to producer Brady and Mick behind the scenes the entire season as well. On behalf of everyone here at Covers.com, thanks for watching. Enjoy the Super Bowl weekend, and we'll chat.